welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be discussing All About Lust by TIRANO Kim. Now before we get started, there will be spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled on this manhwa, go ahead and click off now. No worries, I'll catch you next time. Now for those of you left behind, we do need to go over some content warnings. There may be references to violence, bullying, sexual assault, manipulation, and coercion, as these things do appear in the manhwa itself. Now, if all that's good with you, let's go ahead and get started. Woo-sung is an art student who's never dated anyone. He never wanted to date anyone until he saw his upperclassman Sunjin's art. Without even meeting the artist, Woo-sung feels drawn to Sunjin. Woo-sung has never felt this way about anyone before, and he's determined to get closer to Sunjin no matter what it takes. In his mission to get closer to Sunjin, Woo-sung realizes that what he feels may be more than simple admiration, but true love. He doesn't have much hope that his beloved Sunjin could feel the same about him, but that doesn't stop him from trying. He randomly confesses to Sunjin on a bench in front of their college. To Woo-sung's surprise, Sunjin admits that he has feelings for Woo-sung. However, what Sunjin feels isn't innocent love. Sunjin wants nothing more than to get down and dirty with Woo-sung. Can these two stick it out even though their way of loving each other is so different? Now, first off, I nearly didn't read this because of the cover art. I really don't like how cartoony the art style is, but that's just my preference. However, one thing I like about the cover art that isn't present in the work is the whites of the characters' eyes. On the cover, there are distinct white areas in the eyes. In the work, though, there are none. It's the pupil on top of the skin tone. I can't lie, it bothers me terribly. I much prefer the eyes with the white coloring inside, but that isn't present in the actual series itself. Another thing that bothers me about the art style is how different it is from the story parts and the sex scenes. For the most part, the characters look very plain, but when the sex occurs, there's this strange shift in style, particularly in the faces. For example, Woo-sung suddenly has thick, heavy, feminine eyelashes during sex. Why? It just felt very much out of place, and I wasn't fond of it. Don't get me wrong, I love when the bigger guy devolves into a weepy bottom during sex, but the eyelashes just seem so out of place. I also don't find this art style all that sexy, so the sex scenes felt more awkward than sexy. Now, as we know by now, the art wasn't my favorite, but the story and the character development were really fun. You wouldn't know it from the description, but this is actually two intertwined stories with two different couples. The Sunjin and Woo-sung coupling is the first story in the series, and it's the most superficial of the two. I definitely prefer the second couple of Jae-hee and Bumchul. The story's better, the art's better, and I find the character designs of those two align better with my preferences. I also like how the second story feeds into the first, and we get to see what all was going on behind the scenes during Woo-sung and Sunjin's romance for the first story. So with Sunjin and Woo-sung, there's very little drama or tension. They get together relatively quickly, and then it's just watching them grow together as a couple and as artists and all that fun jazz. On the other hand, Jae-hee and Bumchul are good old enemies to lovers storyline, which lends itself more to drama and tension than Sunjin's and Woo-sung's story had. That's not to say there's much drama in the series in general. There really isn't any when comparing it to other drama-based series, but the pacing in the second story is much better in my opinion because of the added drama. This is definitely more comedy than anything else, and it is funny. I didn't find it as amusing as The Devil's Temptation though, but it's still a fun time. Now with all that being said, I'm sad that it took me so long to finally read this just because I wasn't fond of the art. Admittedly, I'm still not all that into the art style, but I'm pleased to have finally gotten into the story. This is more on the lighthearted side of things, and there's lots of smut if that's something you're looking for. It isn't going to be the prettiest thing in the world, and it's not all consistent, but it's fine. I'm happy to have finally crossed this one off my list. So, have you read All About Lust? If so, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you not? Let me know and comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Bye!